Black hair. Beautiful, elegant, unique, banned.
This is the hairstyle that has Daryl George, a junior at Barbers Hill High School in Mont Bellevue, in trouble.
It is a part of who we are.
Black hair has always held great historical and cultural significance, dating all the way back to 3000 BC. However, with the transatlantic slave trade came the condemnation of black hair. Black hairstyles were required to be covered with headscarves, and slave owners would often shave black hair. With the 1950s came the rise of chemically straightening as a form of assimilation. These discriminatory practices bled into schools and workplaces, with traditionally black hairstyles being deemed unprofessional. Grooming policies that disproportionately targeted black people were put into place, forcing them to hide their natural hair or be sent home. Through stigma and racist legislation, black hair has been delegitimized and hidden away. However, measures have been taken to combat this. In 2019, the Crown Act was passed in California. Creating a respectful, open world for natural hair, this law calls for the termination of race-based hair discrimination. Today, 26 US states officially recognize the Crown Act. But there are still other factors contributing to the loss of black hair culture. Transracial adoption occurs when a family of one race adopts a child of another. With nearly 40% of adoptions being transracial, this increasingly common practice has led to the unintentional loss of important hair culture. Many families simply do not know the significance of black hair history or the basics of black hair care. A lack of education and resources result in a generation of black kids that are robbed of the ability to be proud of their hair, to be proud of their identity. The Naturally Beautiful Project stepped in to fix this.
I started out of my garage, but I think the humble beginnings and just seeing a need in the community, finding families that really could use the services, and people from all over coming into my garage space to get the skills and learn and see lives changed has been quite amazing.
What it quickly evolved to as our mission, began to drift a little bit, we began to see that we had a more emotional inspiration for the community. We started seeing transracially adopted children more frequently, and then we saw our mission drift toward helping those individuals learn African American culture and be a part of a culture that they might have been, they may not be connected to within their family structure. So,
families have a heart to help children that are a different race than they are, different ethnicity. But with those things, I think sometimes families are not quite aware of what they're really getting themselves into as far as an overall care for children, especially when it comes to their textured hair. And we need totally different regimen and routine for textured hair. And I think that sometimes damage can be done when it comes to textured hair. And I think that's a big problem within transracial adoption or fostering.
Part of what happens is being sensitive to say, to make sure that we're saying, like, you were more than qualified and called to love your child. That is your child. But let me come alongside and help you love that child deeper.
I want to give you a little bit of a story. So kind of along the lines of one of my favorite parts. I always tell this story because I think this was the moment that I realized that this is something, I'm on the right track and I'm doing something that really does serve the community. A family had adopted a child from the Congo, and she was already 6 years old. So she was in an orphanage and she wasn't being cared for fully as far as her hair and things like that go. So she felt like, okay, when this family come along and adopts me, they're gonna take care of my whole self. I'm gonna be completely cared for. Well, one day she asked her new mom, do you all love me? Do you and dad love me? And the mom was like, yes, of course, we love you. You know, of course we love you. You know, we're trying to do everything for you to get you adjusted. And she was like, well, why don't you take care of my hair? She was like, when I lived in an orphanage, children that were cared for, they had their hair combed and it was kempt and it had braids and beads and accessories and things like that. And I just really thought that when I was adopted, that part of me would be taken care of. And the mom was in complete shock, and because she just had no idea. I don't think that people understand how much natural hair or textured hair is a part of our culture, and that when we don't feel good about our hair, when we don't look good and we don't feel good about our hair, it causes us to suffer in our self-esteem. And so this young girl did not feel good about herself. She felt alone. She felt that her family didn't love her. Like, that's the ultimate question is, you guys don't love me? Like, why aren't you taking care of my hair? So the Naturally Beautiful project came into play. A family told her about us. She came to my garage, and you could see an immediate boost of self-confidence, self-love, self-worth. Like, her eyes brightened up when she stepped out of that chair and looked into the mirror for the first time after not having her hair done for a while. And she looked, and it was just the boost of confidence that she needed. And that was maybe 6 years ago, and I still do that young person's hair to this day. Now she's grown up and she is getting extensions added in and things like that, but I think the most important part was that she had to learn to love her natural hair first, but that her family also needed to take care of her whole self, and that includes her hair. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you, that was great.
You're welcome.
My absolute favorite part, and it just brings joy to my heart every time, is when that little kid jumps out that chair and they've got a big smile on their face because it's over, because a lot of times they don't want to sit that long. But how beautiful they look, and that bounce in their step as they're walking, as they're running out, no matter how young or how old, they always have that bounce. You can just see that beauty just radiate off of them. That is my absolute favorite part. And so that it's not tangible. Like, I can't ever sell that. Like, it's nothing. I can't even describe what it's like. I'm selling that emotion and that feeling short. But that's my favorite part of the Naturally Beautiful project.